catalytic process that lasts beyond the ayahuasca ceremony. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think it does. It does. So do you think, though, that when we take these psychedelics that we're actually literally, like, our spirits are traveling to a different place, like a different sort of dimension of sorts? Or do you think it's that we're in the same place, everything's still the same, it's just our mind is changing for whatever chemical reason? It's like kind of changing and making us sort of obviously hallucinate this whole thing. And then that leads to because whatever the real process of it and how it works, I don't think really, I'm just kind of curious, but I don't think it really matters as much as the fact that you're seeing results by doing this type of thing. And then the end result is what you really want. But I think it is very curious and interesting to kind of see what people who've done it feel like is actually going on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I would say is that when we take this plant medicine, the sacred plant medicine, ayahuasca, in a ceremonial setting, or other people who work with psychedelics in a ceremonial way, that we're actually experiencing the truth of existence, that more of the truth of what life's really about, and that this 3D reality is a veil that we experience to learn lessons in physical reality. So that veil, that kind of like blindfold of the spiritual world, of the connectedness to the universe, the creator, is lifted so that in those settings we get to experience that. And yeah, our spirits can travel into different dimensions, and to different places, but we get to experience multidimensionality, our own multidimensionality, in a way that perhaps we going into it, and I can speak to this myself, when I went into it, I didn't believe any of that. So if you try to tell me that now, so if someone's out there listening and has never drank ayahuasca or is not into spirituality in this way, is listening, is like, I don't believe that. I get you. I totally wouldn't believe me either 5 years ago. But as the question is, I would say it's just that realization more of the truth of, who we are, perhaps why we're here, and the true nature of reality, existence, those types of things. And throughout that process, the aforementioned healing can occur as well.
Yeah. Where do you think the actual ayahuasca plant came from? Do you think it, like, not getting super religious or anything, but do you think that's like something God or the creator of the universe has put on this planet for us to be able to, say, get in contact with them or the spirit world when we need to in different parts? Like, do you think it's part of that, or do you think it just happens to be a random thing that just so happens to, put us in the state of mind that we can connect to that?
Sure. Well, my belief is that everything that we experience is God. That everything that we experience is creator. So therefore there is a reason and a purpose for it. But more interestingly, and this has come through in several channeling sessions, ayahuasca plant medicine is a technology to help us remember the truth of who we are, to help us get on path for why we've incarnated, why we have come here to earth, whatever it is that we want to do. Now, similarly, there are other technologies, spiritual technologies like yoga, like qigong, like meditation, that can be something that help us remember through those experiential spiritual experiences. And ayahuasca is one technology that is here as one of the tools within a tool belt for help us to come into alignment with who we truly are.
Yeah. Here's kind of I don't know, I guess a sort of rhetorical question, but why do you think that, why do you think we forget in the first place? Why do we have that disconnect with the spiritual world when we come into this world in the first place? Do you think there's a reason behind that?
Absolutely. And this has come through in other spiritual texts and our channeling experiences for ourselves, that we incarnate in earth time as an experience of great learning, of moving from separation back to unity. So moving from us being separated, the idea of war, the idea of poverty, all those things, to coming back to a unity consciousness. And through experiencing that, we are able to learn much quicker through the forgetfulness of the fact that we are all conscious beings, that we are all spiritual beings, that we're all connected to God, that we all are God in some sense or shape or form, if that makes sense. So we have incarnations in other worlds, in other times, in other lifetimes where we have not forgotten. And in fact, the human consciousness was incarnating as humans while still remembering a period of time. But because it took so long for us to learn the lessons that we came here, because we're like, oh yeah, but I am God and I'm connected to God and everything's all connected. When you kind of don't forget that, it's difficult to understand and learn those experiences of forgiveness, of compassion, of love and kindness. So this reality that we experience is a playground for us to experience great spiritual growth that would not be possible in the same way if we remembered before we incarnated. So it's a conscious choice that we make before we come here. Many people will be like, I didn't choose to come here. This is crazy. What's going on in the world right now? But it is something that we all collectively agree to come and experience. And there are other experiences to us available. So it doesn't mean that we're always going to be incarnating here on earth and having these same experiences of amnesia.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting topic. And I tend to believe what you're saying as well. It seems like you say it not as a belief, but as like a knowing. And I've heard that as well. Like when I talk to Tucker and a couple other people, it's like, it's hard to explain different things that you've seen and you experience while doing the hallucinogenic or the psychedelics. But, to someone who's never done it, but to them, when they're explaining it, it sounds like, when you're explaining it now, it's not like you're trying to convince anybody or that you're saying like, yeah, I now believe this. It's now like you just have these things like you mentioned even before, these knowingness of things, like, it's this way, it's that way. And it's tough to kind of translate that to someone like me, for instance, who's never experienced that, because, what I know is what I see right now, but I've obviously never gone to that place that you've gone to.
Absolutely. And I think one way analogy would be to say someone who perhaps has lived in one country their whole life and they've experienced a way of being. It's like, okay, great. I go to Walmart. I do this. I do that. I go to my job here. And then perhaps say you go to Nepal or India and you see a different way of life. And you're like, oh my gosh, people don't work the whole time. There's something out there. These people actually seem pretty happy. And then you try doing some of the stuff that they've done. And then you're like, oh, I get it. I'm not my mind. I'm more than this. And then you can experientially say, oh, that works for me. But the beauty about plant medicines, the beauty about channeling, the beauty about all this work that we do is to offer people experientially a chance to choose something different. We're not here trying to tell anyone that it is different. We are here opening doors for people to have their own experience. And we don't have an investment per se in whether you believe it or not. It's just that we are there to give you the experience of whatever it is that you need to be able to see and understand things for yourself and then make your own choices. But as you were saying, when you experience these things in an integrative way, in a retreat setting, then there are different changes that begin to happen within the body, the mind, and the spirit that help you to feel and understand, know that perhaps something different is available to the life that we have been living. And that's been a conscious choice of me understanding, experiencing things that were beyond my understanding, and then making new choices to align with those. And then afterwards, not because someone's told me that's better for me, just like, okay, I can feel I'm fundamentally more happy and healthier now following that information, tuning into those experiences that I've had. I feel like a better person, and I feel more aligned, happy, and relaxed every day through experiences that I've had with plant medicines and other spiritual practices, just channeling. So it's a choice. And it's just like you said, I think talking about like looking in different windows, there's different windows and there's different paths, there's different lives which you can choose. The same as you choose a job, the same as you choose a tradition, or you choose a place to live. It's just another choice, like moving abroad or going somewhere else. You get to see these things, and then you get to choose if that's something that you want. No one's going to make you do anything different other than yourself.
Nice. So it's very interesting. But like I mentioned before, I want to go through real quick, if you can, if someone comes to you tomorrow, say, or, without COVID and everything, lockdown and everything, just put that aside. If they could come to you tomorrow and go through this process, what does that actually look like? Like, how much of that drink are they taking? What are they doing when they first come to you? How long is the actual process of being, say, under the psychedelic or psychedelics, like the hallucinogenic part of it? How long does that actually take? I know it's probably different in their mind, but how long is it really taking in real time? And what's like the follow-up process to make sure that they're okay and coming down from it afterwards?
Absolutely.
I know there's a lot there too, but
yeah, I'll do my best to pack it into to 5 minutes or so. So firstly, if you're coming to contact us and you're interested in doing a retreat, we have so much educational content on our website, videos that we've shot in the jungle explaining things in more depth. So if you want to go and visit the website later, you can see that process without having to do anything and just like check out our videos. We also are available for free consultations. If someone's interested and like, hey, I'm interested in ayahuasca, but I'm a bit scared, or do you have that? We just do free consultation. So that's the first step. Or perhaps you've gone through that process, you've seen our website and you're like, yeah, this is great, this is what I want to do. We do a full wellness and screening preparation. There's a big questionnaire talking about mental, emotional, physical history, why you want to come, so that we have a safe application process, which I kind of touched on before. Then we'll be doing so everything's good, everything's great. We'll send you an email back with any questions, let you know if there's any medications and things like that you need to do to come off of, to make sure you're safe. And then we'll have a follow-up call from that email conversation or whatever it is, going through your application process, answering any questions, giving you some of our documents that we have to be able to help you prepare. And then we have everything in our FAQ, where you fly to, all those things. So we make it as simple as possible. Then you get yourself to Iquitos airport. So Iquitos is in Peru. You fly to Lima, which is where your family's from. And then you take like a two hour flight up to Iquitos, and then we meet you at the airport. So you don't even have to leave Lima airport. You're just like, great. So if you've never flown abroad before, or you're like, I don't want to go to Peru, what the hell's going on there? We just meet you at the airport. We take you to the hotel, and then we have an orientation meeting there. We have everything laid out for you. We have a dinner on that night, and then we take you into the jungle the next day on a boat. We take you on a bus, and then a 2-hour boat up to the jungle to the retreat center. Then you're in the middle of the national reserve, the Amazon rainforest, where you're going to be there taken care of for 2 weeks. And then we have, in a 2-week program, we have 6 ayahuasca ceremonies, which is what everyone's wanting to hear about. So ayahuasca ceremonies are about anywhere between 4 to 5 hours, usually, sometimes a little bit longer. And then everyone drinks. We're limited to 12 people. We have curandero, Shipibo curandero. I work as a curandero as well, and we have assistant healers there to help keep you safe. So we have about 5 to 6 healers in every ceremony to 12 people. So everyone's like can get one-on-one attention, everyone throughout the whole ceremony. Everyone drinks the ayahuasca. It takes about 20 minutes to come on, and the effects last anywhere between kind of 2 to 3 hours to maybe 4, 5, or 6 hours generally. And in the whole ceremony, there are icaros, which are healing songs, which is communication with the plants and spirits, which is in the indigenous Shipibo language, that connect with spirit, and they go and do healing work on the body, and they create a safe space like a container full of love, of light, so that it's like a safe spaceship, you might have it, to be able to go journey and go deep out that the effects a little bit earlier on. But those ceremonies are used to diagnose and do healings on you in the ceremony. And then we have a whole other bunch of plant medicines that are non-psychoactive, from saunas to purgatives, for things to help you with self-love, arthritis, pains in the body, that we have that all on our website as well, that we give you a personalized treatment plan. We do a consultation with you after the first ayahuasca ceremony, and then give you a programmed prescription of plant medicines to help you heal mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That's tailored exactly to you. We have some videos of that online as well. And then through that process, we're also doing yoga, we're doing qigong, meditation, we're teaching different integrative techniques. We have a lovely river nearby, which you can go swimming in. We do a jungle hike. And then we're out there in the middle of the jungle, which is so healing in itself, to be in the national reserve, in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. And that we take care of you, all food, everything included, for that 2 weeks. And we're just on call 24/7. So you need anything after the ceremonies, we're there with you to talk after the ceremonies. We're there to help integrate, to talk about things that have been happening. So we do one-on-one counseling, we do breath work, all these other things to help you start integrating that. And then we start teaching you tools how to practically make changes in your life if you want to, and how to feel emotions, how to work with these things that are coming up so that you don't have a